We asked the Government Accountability Office and the Comptroller General to do a study for us. And us is myself, Raúl Grijalva from 7th District in Arizona, and my good friend Udall, Senator Udall from New Mexico. And this whole discussion, at least in the Natural Resources Committee, can I speak of for that process, has been this rush to judgment over the last 8 months. That the public lands must be, the multi-use to be emphasized is extraction. And the multi-use is what resources can we take from the land that is going to create energy independence and jobs. So that has been the mantra now for 8 months. And then one of the things we've noticed, and I think Senator Udall noticed, is that we're having this discussion in a vacuum. Everything is built on assumption. And the assumption is that as we create less regulatory environment, as we undo NEPA, as we undo other protections, that there is going to be a miraculous blossoming of jobs and extraction activities. And that hadn't come to pass in the last 8 years when all those regulations were actually loosened for a long time. And so we felt, well, let's put this in perspective. And the perspective is, we've asked for a study. What is the amount of minerals extracted from federal land in the Outer Continental Shelf? And what was the estimated dollar values of those minerals? How much did the federal government collect from these minerals, including royalties, rents, bonuses, and how is this determined? And the request is, of course, on 2 areas, oil and gas and hard rock mining. As we all know, hard rock mining pays no royalties at all, based on an antiquated law that still applies. And we felt that it is very important as we talk about this. You know, both Tom and I are for a balanced approach of our public lands. We're not an either-or proposition people. But we also feel that there is a taxpayer responsibility that we have as elected officials, especially in these fiscal times that we are only talking so much about fiscal policy, taxpayers, and revenue for government, etc., that we are getting a fair return on our public lands. That there is indeed a net benefit and a cost benefit for the American taxpayer. And from the information that we get, we hope that as this debate continues forward, we've asked GAO to give us a financial perspective. How much has the taxpayer lost? How much is this land really worth? And what should be the parameters in the future in order to collect a fair return for the American taxpayer? Particularly in the mining industry, who these last years has made significant profits, and yet they pay no royalties. We still continue to, in the Outer Continental Shelf and in gas and oil, significant profits that we've all seen. And is that reflective of the collection? I don't believe so, but this is why we've asked for this study. I think it'll be glaring what comes out of the mining part of this study. So that is our request, and we feel that when we're talking about radical cuts and reductions in Medicare, Social Security, domestic investments in education, because there is not enough revenue that is coming into the government. Here we have public lands in the Outer Continental Shelf owned by the American people, in which significant economic activity is going on. We're asking a simple question: how much activity is going on, and what is the return on the dollar? We hope this study will then begin to frame the rest of this discussion that we need to have on this. But without information, we can just continue to make pithy little comments about jobs and pull it at the heartstrings of people. We can talk about how important this energy independence is and pull on the heartstrings of people, and not discuss anything else. Well, I think everything needs to be on the table in this very important discussion. And royalties, fair return on the dollar, and how much is really being extracted out there, I think, is the next phase of this discussion. We are asking that this study be expedited. This as the debate continues to go on here in Congress, this information will be very valuable to begin to balance that discussion. That's what we asked for. If there's any question, I'd be glad to try to answer them, but we gave you a good background memo, and of course a letter that Tom and I, Senator Udall and I, got to quit calling him Tom all the time.
Congressman, quick question. Has the GAO given you any indication, saying, oh yeah, we got this, we're going to do it?
There was discussions between our respective staffs and GAO. We went through some drafts of this letter, and I think what we put in the letter that you'll see is reflective of those discussions, so yeah, they're going to go forward with it.
Okay.